To know why I would have never signed back in the day when I was just completely deep into art of all arts, seeming I do everything. That's one of the reasons why. See, you can be so artistic in the area of that you create so much art that you don't even fit in with that in the area of, say, even being signed to a major label. For me, that would have never worked. And even if I was granted the opportunity, even today, this year, I still probably would never take it. That type of thing, it does not work. And let me explain the reason why. It just, for me to be on somebody's major label, that's a complete no-go. You know what I'm saying? Listen to me when I say this. It's a complete no-go for me to be signed to anybody's major label for the simple fact of, you ready for this? The all-time answer? I can't be managed. I can't be managed. Not by other people. I can only be managed by myself in the area of when it comes to songs, writing songs, because see, like I said before, in the area of songwriters being taken advantage in the past, that sort of thing happens when you don't manage yourself properly and you allow, say, in the area of publishing, your stuff to get carried away in other people's hands. I can't be managed in that area. My focus will be solely completely on probably music publishing in itself, more so than even the performance. They probably will be screaming and hollering at me for me to get on stage, in the area of me screaming and hollering in the back room somewhere in the dressing room about, something wasn't done precisely correct in the area of music publishing and my royalties. Yes, I would be, I would never be the type that will be truly fit to be signed on anybody's major record label. It just don't work out. My personality doesn't fit with that, because I'm type of individual in the area of music publishing. That's one of the number one main things that carry business in the area of even performance, is your in relation to performance rights organizations, is you getting paid for the songs that you have written. That's why I say it's so important for people that sign with these major labels. It's so important not to just sign your rights away to other people, because that's mismanagement waiting to happen in itself. So for me, if I was signed to a major label, I would write all my songs myself. I might have producers come in and here and there, but they wouldn't be producing all my stuff. We would actually collaborate. I will be on the pianos, and keyboards, helping to collaborate with that. They wouldn't be getting a huge lump sum of my royalties. That just wouldn't happen. How the payout is, it's a few times a year. They wouldn't be getting the majority of that, because I'm telling you right now, if I ever got signed to a major label and something is missing in the area of royalties, I tell you now, I will not be going out on nobody's stage. That's what I'm trying to say. In the area of, I don't care if it's thousands of crowds out in the arena waiting for me to get on stage, I would not be going out on that stage. It would not be happening. You wouldn't be seeing me that night float out on stage, because money will be probably, I'm saying, missing. If I was in the back in the dressing room and I'm looking over paperwork and I'm like, well, what happened to the percentage of this? And my business is off, I would not be getting on that stage. So I'm saying that area would not work out for me, because everybody else would have to wait. What I would do is I would reimburse those that's out in the arena, give them money, give that money back. You got what I'm saying? For them coming out, give the money back or whatever, and go handle that business in the area of what happened to my royalties, what happened to the procedure in relation to this about us not getting all our money and our payout. So yeah, I don't think that type of thing. That would be a complete no-go. Me being signed. So to answer his question, instead of me writing it back, I figured I'd record it in video form. I can't be managed by others in the area of writing, because see, even in the arena of writing, and say being tied to a major label, the reason why I said it wouldn't work this is my ultimate answer, and I'm repeating myself again, so but I just can't be managed by other people. See, I'm the type person, because I think so diverse and my mind is so expansive, I probably would be doing not only my job, but the people that's supposed to be doing my job. I would literally be managing them in a sense. Their job and the secretary and bookkeeping and all them, I'd be like, move out the way and let me handle that, because that's my affairs. You can't, that don't seem right. See, to be tied with a major label, that type of stuff you do if you like to be told what to do. To go be tied with a major record label is for people that like to be told what to do. And in the area, that's fine when it comes to, say, like TV stuff. That's a whole different lane, because when it comes to music, as in the area of performing and writing your own songs, it's all business oriented, but a lot of times certain stuff comes through inspiration. That stuff comes from the heart. So in a sense, it's hard to be told what to do when you're getting carried away in that type of activity. You feel what I'm saying? Somebody in the studio, management done got a phone call from the record label telling you that certain stuff need to be etched out in the song, and yet it's not cuss words or nothing. It's just you singing certain things in a hook or in a loop or something. They don't want that on there. They want that removed, and they want a whole different branched out style. And they tell you this over the phone, and you're like, what? I think that we need to keep this because this is what makes the song sound exuberant and vibrant. And they fussing with you like, no, you got to remove it. For me, I will probably in the end up removing it and just keeping the original for myself, and actually taking that and putting that out to the public as a B-side on my own little, my own little, I won't call it record label. I wouldn't call it my own little, but my own little independent establishment on the side. See, I would rather, if I got signed to a major label, I would rather still want to have my own little small umbrella on the side where I release stuff. I wouldn't want to just release everything through a major record label, because, I feel like a lot of times all good things come to an end, and good things come to those who wait. But for me, my personality, I don't like other people really managing me. Like in the TV and film arena, that's a whole different aspect, because you're not writing. I'm saying more so in the area of you're not writing. It's more, you're more dealing with marketing and a film camera if you're not, doing screenwriting and stuff like that, which I do and have done. So that's more marketing, and you're dealing with cameras and stuff like that. But in the area of songwriting, that's closer, passionate to heart. That type of thing really shouldn't be given away to other people under a major label branch. That type of thing I feel should stay independent, because there becomes a lot of decisions that are not left up to you. It's left up to other people to make a lot of decisions for you, and that doesn't seem right. Like, I was never groomed in my childhood to allow other people to make decisions for me. I was given the leeway from a young age to manage myself over all my affairs. So to have somebody just walk up and say, okay, here's a contract, sign on the dotted line, and everything that you create, we're going to tell you, no, you can't create it like that. Like that doesn't work out, especially on the stage. Because remember, the whole performance is packaged before you get on stage. So everything that you throwing in there that you might want to include yourself, it's got to go back through the label to tell you what's got to be taken out. You might want to put something in there that's completely free and open, and they say, you know what, that's not going to work. So you're like, well, what is going to work? This is what it's, the free flow and everything is, all this stuff should be able where it's not totally scripted. That's what I'm saying. Like, you sign with these major labels, and it just seems like everything has to be scripted, and it does. That's to prevent, stuff from falling here and there, or stuff that's unexpected from happening. So even stage performance has to be pre-scripted. And if they tell you, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that in the studio, no, this song can't be like that, it's like you basically micromanaging me. You're micromanaging me. You're looking at every small detail and saying, you know what, that's not going to work. No, that's not going. So for me to be in the environment, I don't operate like that because I'm a full-blown, full-bred artist, like I said at the beginning of this video. And artists, we really don't keep the schedules, as I'm coming to find out the older I get. We don't really keep the schedules as good because we're artists. So we're free spirits where we flow. I go to sleep when I feel. I wake up when I feel. That's even in relation to freelancing. It's the freedom in that, to wake up when you feel like it, to go to sleep when you feel like it. I mean, anytime you with a major label, it's almost like you're in jail somewhere, because you got to be told, okay, now you know what, you should go eat because you got an interview coming up. Yes, man, some people's management do that. Some of their teams and staff do say, you know what, did you eat? Because you got an interview coming up. You don't want to be feeling like this during the interview. You know, did you go to sleep? Did you take a nap? Because, you know, it's 10 o'clock right now and you got to be back up at 5 a.m. to take a flight out to such and such so that you can, you know, do an interview. Like that type of stuff is like babysitting. I can't get with that. That type of, I'm saying it, to be signed under an umbrella like that, you're almost being babysat. You're almost being taught you're almost being treated like you're a child. So that's why I said it wouldn't work, because if I was the type person on a major label, like I said before, I would be trying to do everything myself to front the cause, to let everybody know, look, we coming. And not only that, this is how our team is doing stuff. Yes, I will be very in your face with it, because that's the type of stuff that I like, but I don't know. And I more than likely know the reason why you had some artists that were in fact majors who couldn't in fact keep up in the arena of that whole lane. It might not have been completely because they wasn't really selling in the area of tickets or maybe album sales, but I don't think they could really keep up with that lifestyle in general. Because to go to sleep, let me see, being a major artist on a label, your schedule is completely unpredictable, right? And yet, one of the reasons why, I know I was told this as a kid, one of the reasons why many people also get on drugs in that area is because they can't stay up and keep up. So you might be a major artist and it might be a CD listening party that you go to, right? And the doors open at 10, 11, o'clock, or sometimes 1 a.m. depending on who it is. These parties is even unpredictable. So you might go to the listening party. The listening party might not close down till 4 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning, right? And you just chilling out, and you got an interview the next morning, but you got to be up at 5 o'clock, and you didn't leave the club until, you didn't leave the club listening to the listening party till 4:30, but you're supposed to be up at 5 o'clock. So you can get on the plane to go wherever for the interview. That type of stuff, it doesn't work for a lot of people. You got what I'm saying? Because, and that's why I said many of them get on drugs, because to be up all night is to be up once again. And that's where the cocaine usage a lot of times start from. See, a lot of these people who are in the industry that get cracked out and stuff, you have many of them, a lot of them that was on drugs before they went in, but you got many and more that didn't start using drugs till later on, once they got in the industry, because with everything being so fast paced, you got to keep up. And so that's a lot of time where the heavy drug usage come from, because to be tired is to take a drug to make you feel wired. You know what I'm saying? So you can stay on the move. So on top of that, you become wired and tired. So you're just walking around real tired, but you're wired enough to get your interviews done, enough to get your video shoot done, enough to take press photos, enough to meet the press, enough to do whatever you need to do, whether it's to, go overseas to Asia or somewhere. That type of stuff take a lot of energy to deal with, and not everybody's body is able to deal with it in the process. You got what I'm saying? Even rock and roll kings and queens who have died, the legends, from overdosing and all that, some of that they was using them drugs to stay up and keep up. So it just, I don't think that lifestyle, that would have never, all good things come to an end. But even when I was presented whatever years back in the area of relation to a major label, I kind of knew back then that that wasn't going to work. That lifestyle, it was not going to work. Because see, I'm not against anyone that use heavy drugs, but for me, that's not my thing. My thing is do what you do. But in that whole area of somebody else managing me and telling me what to do, that completely don't work out. And TV and film is perfect. But in the area of me writing my own stuff, you got what I'm saying? And then I gotta get on stage and perform it out. I might wanna do something that's free flow on the stage, and so for me to be told no, this and that just, yeah. So that was my main answer. My main answer when you watch this is that's the reason why. If you can't be managed by other people, you have to manage yourself. And who's to say that would even work out in that area? Because the industry, they say the industry is dying. The industry really can never die. It never can. Everything is converting over to streaming. And even the industry knew that way back then when it started. They just didn't say so. But being an independent artist nowadays, it's so hard to be seen and located by others because the game is so saturated by so many people. You can see a Madonna on stage and everybody wants to be like her. You see Beyonce on stage, everybody wants to be like her. And so when you carve out your own niche, who's to say they're going to even be interested? Because it's so much different talents and faces out here. The game is completely saturated. And not only that, people like what is completely familiar. And for me, I like familiarity, but me being a full-blown artist, that's another reason why I can't be enclosed in a tight space of just one thing. I have to do like everything. You got what I'm saying? And so if I came out on the scene of some sorts, I will probably completely bypass everybody's eyes because I'm so different. Yes, completely different. And so when I said people love what's familiar, they do. That's why a lot of times you won't have people that they won't go outside of listening to a Madonna or listening to Beyonce. They don't really give a lot of times the independents who chose to stay independents. They won't give you much play because they figure your style is not really linked up in the area of looking like that other major recording artist style. And yet, how are you to be your own individual if you're so busy looking like everybody else and doing what everybody else does? So yeah, for me, it's just meant for me to stay an independent artist all the way around. Back in the day, I wish I would have filmed this on my other camera, walking around showing off graffiti. But back in the day, I used to want to get into graffiti because I draw and stuff like that. That was another passion that I never scoped out and tried to do because it just seemed like it was so complex. Because remember, to draw on a small space like that, piece of paper, or draw like even on a small piece of wall or something like that, that in itself is it almost seems confining because it's small. But to actually take spray paint and spray on a wall, on a concrete wall real big, that scares me. It does. Because you got to shake the can and all that other stuff. But that's all like New York type of activity. But it's exciting when I think about it. But I never tried it. But I'm just saying, in the area of me being a artist at bloom at all hours of the day is, having so many passions. Like, all I'm trying to say is I feel that those that are the real artists at heart, and they were actually born this way, those who were creators from birth, I don't think it's meant for them to completely work for other people in the area of a regular 9 to 5. It's something about their brain. Their brain is kind of like off in relation to the schedule, because see, to be born an artist is to be a drifter, and that's the point. It's to make you see all levels of life and not just one side of life, right? And so even to be signed to a major record label is considered a 9 to 5. Yes, it is, because they operate just like a 9 to 5. And so you're being told what to do like a 9 to 5. And yet, real authentic artists, once again, from birth, they can't commit to that type of thing. Because if you were to commit to something like that, you're being stifled. Listen to me when I say this. When I see and hear from many artists who are in fact independent artists that they have a lot of gifts like I do, and they can't really do a regular 9 to 5, right? In the area of just being confined to that one thing and not being able to do every other thing. And when they're confined to being constantly told what to do, and yet they're not allowed to do other things outside of that, they can't be confined to that, because a lot of times that leads to depression. Because to be a artist at all sides is to view life from all sides. And not only that, you're to walk and drift at all sides. So just because you're a cameraman today as a freelancer, you might not do that tomorrow. You might actually do music producing tomorrow. You got what I'm saying? So say, for example, if today, let me just give an example. If today is Saturday and you work as a cameraman, as a freelance artist, if you're a freelancer, which many in the industry are, a lot of times they make up their own schedule, working from the outside in, serving corporations. So you might want to say, today is Saturday, so I'm going to freelance as a cameraman, right? You take your equipment on site to wherever you're going to do whatever. Or say you're into editing, you do that on Saturdays. But it's not every single Saturday, because remember, to be a freelancer is to create and make your own schedule. So you're just doing it this Saturday. But then when Monday come, you might be good in the area of editing sound. So you just, Saturday, you did film, and then on Monday, now you're editing sound, right? But then you might also be good at graphics. So on Tuesday, you might actually put in graphics to do for that day. So you got different clients and you're doing different things, which makes your world more interesting the more as you go. So no, the whole 9 to 5 thing is too stifling for the artist, even in the area of industry, because to be restricted at what you can be told what to do and not what to do at certain hours and periods of the day, it's just to kill you off. That poses an area of killing complete creative potential. Because remember, inspiration in relation to the artist, you can serve in an area with corporation from outside going in as a freelancer. But if you're doing Monday through Friday with the corporation and you say, I got this ideal, I got an inspiration to help for this project, and they say no, and they're constantly saying no, that just stifles you. That's not going to work. You got to go do something else. And that's what a lot of artists nowadays, they need to be told that. They need to hear and understand that entrepreneurship will be your greatest advantage. It will be of your greatest benefit when you're told no. People don't like to hear when I say that a major record label is, and in fact, a 9 to 5. It is. It is. Any of them celebrities that's getting on stage, if they sign to a major label and they got contracts and stuff, they're working a 9 to 5. You might not see them from 9 to 5, and yet their daily affairs consist of 9 to 5 activities. It have to, because remember, you're under contract. You got to do what you're told to do like a slave. That's what that is. It's contract slavery. And no, I'm not downing anyone, but anytime you got to tell me no, I just feel like there's a stifle there of creative potential. That's why when Prince was with Warner Brothers and he had issues with, these major labels, and he didn't want to put his music out, Prince Roger Nelson's, and he wrote Slave on the side of his face. because he felt like they were confining him. That's not right to have a creative head on your, it's not right to have somebody highly fueled in creativity on your major label, right? And then you tell them, not, I'm not saying Prince, I'm just saying anybody major, have them on your label, and then you tell them, no, you can't try that, no, you can't do anything like that. I think that they should have an extension of, okay, they tell you, well, you got to do this like this, but here on this other small branch of label, you can do that. We'll put that out as like B-sides, we'll put that out as whatever. You feel what I'm saying? Can't stifle creativity, and me being managed by others at long periods, hours of the day, that doesn't work out, because it's a lot of things that management seem to overlook in areas where I actually see, and yet they don't. And yet when they are told to do certain things, they don't even want to take the time to take it upon themselves to fix it. And so if you're not going to fix it, what's the point of me even being signed to you? That makes absolutely no sense. That's a waste of time. See, we had these conversations before. I've had this conversation with many of people. You know, it's a lot of people's dream to want to be signed to a major label, and yet they don't even know what comes with it until they get to the other side and find out and realize it's nothing more than a 9-to-5 that's been glamorized. Yes, it is. I know. Trust me, I know. Being signed under contract to a major label is nothing more than a glamorized contract that's in fact a 9-to-5. Yes, it is. Because all your decisions are made for you. Yes, they are. Because remember, you're representing that major label. You're not representing yourself. So when they tell you you can't dress like this, that's one of the main things, that one of the very first things that people hate when they get signed to a major label. They're told what they can't wear. They told how they can't talk. They're told what songs they can't sing. They're completely repackaged into something else, something other than what they're not. And many people are they're afraid to take the chance to actually live that life, because they think they might actually become that individual they were told to actually become. Because see, with many of these kids that become signed to major labels, they're actually emulating somebody else. So if you get signed to, say if you're a young kid and you come from a small town, right, out in Nebraska somewhere, you know, some guy just came across and found that you had a small following of fans, and he thought that you were young, cute, and pretty, and he felt, you know, over at the label they could more so brand you into more of being a Madonna. You know, them type of days are like over, and yet they still happen. Because remember, a record label, a major record label, is a machine to make money. So if you got that following going for you, and you're a cute white young girl with blonde hair, so even some of that has to be altered. They might make you go more blonde, but then they might from time to time make you shave your head. Because remember, you are representing them. You're not representing yourself. You're a brand, yes, which is an extension of who you are, but at the same time, to be on anybody's major corporation anywhere is to represent their products and what they're trying to sell. So you yourself being a public figure is now nothing more than a product. If that executive at that label says, you know what, you've been living for the past 20 years with long hair and you're not used to wearing short hair, they might want to actually give you a buzz cut. And it has nothing to do with style. It could be something in relation to mass media and a fake story advertisement they want to sell, you know, in relation to some drama story to kick up yourselves. So how would you feel if they make you do a buzz cut? Now the average woman or teen or child will have a fit knowing that the label is requesting that they shave all their hair off for something as simple as packaging. Knowing that, you know, your hair can grow back, some is not willing to take that chance. And yet some have completely spazzed out when they was forced to do that. You know, stories that you don't see on TV in Hollywood, that sort of thing happen. So when people say I sold my soul to the devil, it's not that they saying they sold their soul to the devil precisely. They just saying basically they have given up all their rights and decisions. And that's how you get cracked out on drugs. Because to be allowed no freedom, in saying so, of doing certain things, is to go get on drugs. Because you just enslaved yourself. That's almost like going back home to stay with mom. Like what I did, you know what I'm saying? Same with the major record label. You're basically almost going back home to mom and dad to be under ropes and chains. And once again, I'm not saying anything wrong with that, and I'm not saying there's anything. I don't say that I have anything against people that choose to make that decision, because once again, people that sign these contracts, I keep repeating this, they're usually people that they're submissive. They like to be told what to do. They can't manage themselves, so they need somebody else to manage them for themselves. And yet sometimes even that leads to unhappiness, because they realize, is it daddy telling me now what to do? Because I can't even go outside without them telling me I got another meeting and another call I got to be on, or some seminar I got to go to. So yeah, that's basically all I was saying. I had to break that down because, to be asked questions is to actually, in fact, answer them and not leave people hanging. But that's why I would never sign a contract. Way back then, I would have never signed. I never would. And who's to say later I would change my mind? And then again, I don't think that would ever happen either, because I'm so far gone in the mind, in the area of what I want to do future-wise. I kind of want to travel, right? And yet, I wouldn't want no label to try to block me on certain things of what I'm trying to do with that. So yeah, my thing is just stay out my way. Move out the way, stay out the lane, stay in your own lane, stay out my way. That's basically it. That's my answer to it. 1.